Good morning, everybody. Wherever you are in this world, I wish you a fantastic day today. Today we have our third podcast in one single week. Within 7 days, we produced three podcasts. I'm very excited about that. And again, today is our good friend and co-founder of TreeTherium, Matthias Gelber. Good morning, Matthias.
Hey, good morning, Frank. How are you doing in good old Kuala Lumpur?
Yes, I see you're in a hotel room. So where have you landed today? Because you've been all
I'm in
over the
Kuala
place.
Lumpur. I was
Oh,
busy last weekend, up to some interesting stuff. I was judge of Miss Global Kabaya
okay.
pageant. I occasionally get invited. I've been regular judge of Miss Earth. And then there was an awards event where I was receiving the Sustainability and ESG Innovator of the Year award. So that was quite nice.
So I heard about the nomination, but you actually got the award. So congratulations. Fantastic,
Yeah,
man.
thank
Yeah.
you. Always, maybe I should get the little trophy. Nah, we
Yes,
don't
yes,
have to
yes.
show. You
Please
want to
do,
see it?
please do.
You
Yes,
want
of
to see it?
course. Yes, yes.
All
Show
right.
it to the world.
Let me get it.
So guys, I hope you understand while he's picking up the award, that all of this is impromptu. Yeah, we run
Yeah,
this, no scripts, no nothing. Just oh wow,
yeah.
that's
Here's the baby,
yep, yep.
and yeah, so nice. Looks cool. Little eagle. Hopefully, some of the forests that our Triterium tribe is planting will attract some eagles. Actually, it
Yeah.
reminds me of a conversation I had with one of the board members of the Philippine Eagle Foundation, because I live in the Philippines. He basically said the iconic underfed eagle, the population is actually directly related to the availability of original rainforest high canopy trees. So there's a
Oh,
direct correlation. Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, you can't achieve that through short-term reforestation and tree planting, but in preservation, especially the original forest, and then reforesting, and that's what we want to achieve. That's where we want our tribe members to get active and contribute, and hopefully we can all make a gigantic difference. Yeah.
I like that you introduced the word tribe because slowly it's becoming a tribe. Yeah, we always spoke about partners and people around the world, but now it's yeah, we're growing quite a bit. So I'm excited about that. Congratulations again, Matthias.
Thank you.
Uh,
So,
thank
Frank, I think we need as well a Criterium like award if someone has, either their local community. Let's say we have Ike in Kenya. I remember you mentioned we have a lady that wants to take on Mexico and parts of South America. If they have a
correct.
certain number of trees, we need to, have a Criterium recognition for our most active tribe members internationally, something like that. And it's just a thought that is coming up, right?
Yeah.
Again, we didn't discuss it. There's
No,
nothing
no.
scripted here. It's just like we make it up on the go. But Ike,
Yeah.
you deserve the first award already for the 200 plus trees in Kenya. So if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
listening to this, Ike, you will be the inaugural recipient of our Criterium trophy, right,
Yeah.
Frank?
Let's
Can we make
let,
this
yes.
commitment?
Yeah, I can. We can make that commitment. Ike was one of the very first members that joined us and immediately registered. He's a forestry expert in Kenya, and immediately went to action. He took some of his friends back home to, I think, to a part of a plantation, and they planted 200 trees within the first 5 days of meeting him and having a small conversation online. And yesterday, I got one of his friends calls me as well. She has a fantastic plan. So I said, hold your horses for now. But there's so much excitement happening, and I'm very, very excited that the energy that we have brought to our little kitchen table, where the idea in the end came from, is now slowly taking shape in the various countries. So congratulations, guys. Yesterday it was a lady from Kenya. The day before was a gentleman from Malawi. Amazing. I mean, we're really stunned about where all of you come from and how you got to us, because we hardly have been promoting ourselves yet. So thank you very much for doing all that hard work with us. That's the important thing. Matthias, for every week, well, I mean, normally we do this on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but every week we have a little chat and then we discuss a little bit more on some of the ins and outs behind the scenes. And one of the most important things, I think, is what most likely people that see us and have seen us or been to our website or been to one of our social media posts, most likely really want to know what are you guys actually doing, right? So we're tokenizing tree planting worldwide. That is our main goal, to tokenize tree planting worldwide. But for that, of course, we need to do tree planting. So let's discuss today a little bit about what you need to do to actually go out there and plant trees. So if you want to organize your very first tree planting event, whether it is with one single friend or it's just you planting a tree in your neighbor's garden, but where do you start? Could you maybe share a little bit with all of us?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is you need a piece of land that you have permission to plant trees. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's your piece of land, okay, shouldn't be a big problem. But even there might be local rules on planting of trees. There might be restrictions on non-native trees. So this is an important thing to consider as well. The selection of the trees. What trees are you going to grow? Find native trees, maybe fruit trees, trees that might be fast growing, some diverse set of species, bring in the biodiversity. Obviously, there will be some people that will be looking at, larger scale plantations, but our core focus at this stage is really the inspiring of, small scale forests that have a lot of biodiversity, maybe some urban tree planting, and important, who owns the land? Do you have the permission? How are you going to maintain these trees in the long term? And then, where do you get the trees from? One little tip as well is, usually the trees, the samplings come in those plastic wrapping bags with the soil around them. If you can actually find suppliers that have a bio-based wrapping that is easily biodegradable, that would be preferable, because then you don't need to rip off the plastic around the soil. Sometimes the danger of trees after they are planted not surviving is because, volunteers that do it for the first time, they rip the plastic and, they're not familiar with it. They apply too much force and they basically rip off the soil from the branches of the tree, what is it called again? The part of the tree that goes into the soil, the roots.
The
The
roots,
roots. Yeah.
yeah.
People rip off the plastic covering and then they potentially rip off the soil from the roots. Depends a little bit on how moist and how loose the soil is. Sometimes that can easily happen. And then if somebody holds just a tree with some roots and there's no more soil there, that tree will struggle much more to survive. So be careful. Instruct the people that are coming with you for the tree planting. Sometimes you're going to make holes in advance. If you have a very hard soil, it will be difficult. I believe in tree planting. Get your hands dirty, do some physical exercise, make the holes yourself if possible. But if you have limited time for actually planting, if you can get the holes done in advance, that will speed up and simplify the process a lot. But in my opinion, do some physical work, do some exercise, do a workout, dig some holes, carry, sweat. It's all good. It's all part of the experience. I mean, the first tree plantings that I used to organize were in a peat swamp forest. It's moist soil, so easy to make the holes there. You just, have this charcoal or, something that you can dig holes with. And because the soil is so soft, it's very easy to do it.
Right. So if you, I mean, if you were, with a small group, then it's easy to control. Everybody can bring their own spade to dig the hole, for instance. Make sure, I think that's an important one, make sure that the trees, that you know something about the trees that you're going to be planting. And that I think is a very important one. Then, of course, taking care of the roots is an important one too. Now, what would you say if people want to do something bigger? Let's say you're a teacher at a elementary school and you would like to do a tree planting event with 50, 10-year-olds. What do you think would be required? Well, not what you think. I know you've been there, so you speak from experience. So yeah.
When you are doing tree planting with children in particular, make it an educational experience. Um, Inform them in advance. What are the trees that we are planting? What are these trees good for? What birds might these trees attract? What other biodiversity might they attract? The connection with the tree can be a healing impact as well. We do this forest bathing nowadays to calm our mind, people with mental health issues, or just, to rejuvenate yourself. So when you are planting trees with kids, safety is very, very important. um, you know you can't expect the kids to carry too much equipment around.
Right.
Make it something that potentially the parents can get involved in as well.
Yeah.
Family experience would be nice. You need
Yeah.
to be very, very focused on safety aspects. And the fact that the kids understand what's going on, the parents understand what's going on, and make it an ongoing experiential learning experience. Okay, you know how fast will this tree grow? What does this tree need for survival? How much carbon dioxide is the tree taking up, sequestering over time?
Yeah.
What kind of fruits, leaves will the tree deliver? Or let's say you have a special soil for tree planting that could be peat soil. That is a carbon sink. A lot of biomass has been accumulated over the years because the soil is wet and moist. So when stuff falls down, it doesn't biodegrade like on a normal forest soil. Or you might do a mangrove tree planting. Mangroves are very, very important for the blue carbon, the ocean, the protection against tsunamis. For example, mangrove forests store a lot of carbon. But there are countries where mangrove forests have been planted in areas where they were like invasive species, and they had a negative impact on the biodiversity. I know that from Taiwan. Taiwan is actually removing some of the planted mangrove forests because it wasn't the appropriate thing to do in that context of the native biodiversity scenario there. So,
Right.
got to do a little bit of background research, try and speak with a biologist or forester, get a bit more insight, and then make it an educational experience for the children. So,
Yep.
and the families, that they come back to the forest, they adopt the trees that they planted. You turn it into something where you have a connection to a belonging.
Yeah, yeah, that is in principle also part of what we're going to do in the whole tokenizing part of the tree, because now people will have a digital asset sitting in their wallet that they can track and come back to add pictures, add videos to it. But all of that we will explain later once our application is completed. Yeah, great. I think what you just said makes a lot of sense. Let's say you're a teacher and you want to bring out 50 kids of a specific age, make an event over multiple days. Rather, I mean, the tree planting is probably one of the days, but make it an event over multiple days. Invite a forester to come and have a little chat with the kids. I mean, I remember when the fire brigade came to my school, even 10 years later, you still get chills about that. So I think
Mm.
people with this kind of authority and have a good message to share, specifically in the world that we live in, I think is very important. So great ideas. Great.
Maybe one more point, Frank. I mean, a
Yep.
lot of corporates are doing tree planting as well. And again,
Yep.
this is a great opportunity to, make this a strategic project, not just a one-off tree planting.
Yes.
For example, in my neighborhood, in the Philippines, Ayala, one of the big, large corporations, and Ayala in particular has been very proactive on decarbonization. They have a dedicated carbon forest very close to my town, and they bring their employees there. They pay local community to maintain those forests. You, as an individual, even though you're not part of the company, you can go there, and I did that with my kids during the pandemic. You can sponsor trees, you can plant trees, you can visit a carbon forest. So it's much more than a tree planting. It becomes a iconic associated part of the business, and it becomes a baby that you adopt and that you grow over time. So this could be great as well for initiatives, then tokenization and tracking what's going on. But then it
Yep.
is really a long-term project rather than a short-term initiative.
Excellent. Yeah, we actually see, because currently we're doing some research on, who else is in this sphere, and our new community manager, Vimilia, she's doing a good job, and we see exactly this kind of projects happening in various countries. We're trying to connect with them, and and see what we what we can bring together and make it even bigger. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, good. I think in the near future, the corporate industries and corporate companies will play a major role in our achievements as well, and probably also in our growth. But for us, this is not the most important part yet. The main thing is we want to get people off their couches and go into the forest and actually plant trees, help us
Yeah.
plant more trees. That's the main goal.
And one thing, I hear in the background, there are
Oh, my
trees
God.
chirping, right,
Yes,
Frank?
my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you are next to the forest, right? You
Yeah.
you have trees there, you have birds. I love that kind of thing. We have the same at home in Philippines. Okay, now I'm in a hotel room in KL. I don't have the birds chirping here, but this is, the connection to nature. I as
Yeah.
well, 20 years ago invested in a reforestation project in Panama. Now it's a biodiverse forest with different species, with animals. If you have biodiversity around you, you really have that beautiful, inspiring sound and presence of nature that really contributes to your life.
Yeah, I don't want to make this talk about me, but let me share one little story about why I'm here, where I am at this moment. I lived in a big city with 10 million people. There's a lot of noise pollution. There's a lot of pollution. There's also a lot of people pollution. No, I love everybody there.
What's that?
No, seriously. I mean, I lived in an area where it's really crowded, where you had to stand in line for restaurants, and I felt, gosh, every weekend I escaped the city, and then on Sunday night I would come back and go to work during the week. But I came up with the idea: what if I can turn it around? What if I can live in nature and come to the city only when I have to be in the city? And that's what I did in the past 3 years. So you're absolutely right. You probably hear my birds and my squirrels and it's amazing every morning when I wake up and I open up the doors, and I'm in the middle of nature. And interesting enough, I have super fast internet as well. So, all problems solved from that perspective. But yeah, that's not a choice that everybody can make. But yeah, being a bit closer to nature, I think, is what a lot of us are losing out on. I mean, the shopping centers are full in all the countries that I've visited in the last couple of years, whether it be Taiwan, Japan, and Thailand. I mean, the shopping centers are full, but nature is still empty. So we gotta look into nature. Go and connect a bit more with nature. I think that's important. Not just on your holidays. Make a day trips as well. Yeah. Enjoy it. And it's beautiful. I mean, and it's beautiful everywhere, whether you go to the northern part of Europe or you go to the southern part of Europe, or you're in Asia or South America. I mean, beauty can be found everywhere, which is stunning. Great. Quick one. So thanks for all the good information just now. I think, there's maybe one important one that you haven't mentioned yet. And I remember that when we organized our very first tree planting event with TreeTherium on the 12th of October, our Genesis event, you made one thing very important. And you said it's a zero waste event. Can you share a little bit more about what you meant with that and what people should do and what they should consider?
Obviously, when you are planting in the natural environment, you don't want to leave any physical waste behind. So when
Yeah.
you're organizing the tree planting event, think about zero waste as a target. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't always achieve it. Like if there's no supplier locally available of tree samplings with a biodegradable cover at the bottom of the soil, then you need to cut off the plastic and remove it, but collect all of it. Don't
Yeah.
leave any traces behind, and aim for minimum carbon footprint and minimum waste. Zero carbon, zero waste are aspirations that we should have. We can't achieve them 100%, but the closer you are to it, the more effective there is the net gain from your tree planting in terms of helping Mother Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think another one on top of that is if you go into nature and you're actually going to be planting in nature, bring an extra black bag or anything that you can collect some waste in, and any plastics that you find along the way, just put them in a bag and take them home and dispose them. And it's so
And
easy. That's what we
yeah,
say again.
yeah. Encourage the people that are attending to bring their water tumblers with them.
Right.
Avoid plastic bottles if possible. I know people, sometimes expect gloves at tree planting. I personally don't use gloves. I just,
Same.
use my bare hands. Yeah, maybe in some cases, when people are very manicured, fingernails, maybe they need some gloves. Would be great if you can bring your own reusable garden gloves
Right.
with you, rather than expecting the event organizers to have single-use gloves available. That's something that I'm not a fan of. So yeah, try and make it as sustainable as possible, but be a little bit flexible as well. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I was voted greenest person on the planet. I mean, in those days, I was still, hardcore as a bachelor. It's easier to have a super low carbon footprint, minimum waste, because you're only responsible for yourself. Once you're a
Right.
family man with children, that becomes a lot more complicated. So, we need to have some flexibility. I can't be perfect. Nobody is perfect. But let's try and, be committed to the overall cause and make
Yeah.
our tree planting events as sustainable, as low carbon, as much as possible, zero waste. And then we are holistically contributing to the overall objective.
Cool. Time of the day, best time of the day to plant trees. Is there any, consideration to take?
I mean, here in this part of the world, Southeast Asia, it gets super hot during lunchtime.
Yeah.
And when people start sweating, they don't drink enough. You might even have the danger of people feeling unwell. So
Mhm.
best time would be very early in the morning, usually.
Yeah. And come hydrated.
Bright and early. Yeah. Loads
Yes,
of
and
water.
bring a smile. That's important.
Yeah.
I remember
One more
sorry.
important point. I mean, um, don't plant trees during the super dry season, because then your tree might not get enough water unless you go there and physically water the tree, which again has a environmental impact because you need to transport the water there. It requires, try and make the timing in such a way that you can let nature do these extra jobs of watering.
Very good. Very soon, and at this moment in the background, a small team is working on a tree planting handbook and guide, which is not going to be printed on paper because that's trees as well, right? So it's going to be a digital format, which we will make available to everybody that would like to have one. But yeah, that's something that we will discuss in another moment of time. Good. Thank you very much for sharing everything, Matthias. Great stuff. Always nice talking to you. Quick one on our global growth. We just praised everybody that's from around the globe, but it's like, it's really, we're stunned. So keep sending out your messages to some friends that are eco-conscious, that have a green heart, that feel for nature, that would like to contribute some of their time. Get them involved with us. We actually planted a new tree this week. It's called www.linktree, and it's actually the last EE it's .ee, but never mind. Just look for Linktree and then look for TreeTherium, and you will find all our data there. Matthias's his profile is there, my profile is there, some of the other co-founders' profiles is there, but also connect there to our website, our WhatsApp group, all our social media channels are there. So search for Linktree and then TreeTherium, and then you will find us, and then you find all the links. So cool. I had one more thing on my little list. What was that again? Yes, we were discussing a global simultaneous tree planting event next year. It's still in an idea stage, but we're looking for the right time to do a simultaneous tree planting event worldwide. So of course that is impossible to do that exactly simultaneous, because otherwise people would be planting in the middle of the night where others would be doing that at midday. But we would like to do that over one weekend, where we make it a tree planting weekend, and we'd like to have that as a reoccurring idea. Now, if you feel you have a great idea about this, put it in the comments in this video, or share it with us through any other means, and we'll pick you up, and we're going to give some additional prizes for the 3 top ideas how we're going to run this event. We got some great ideas, but we love to hear your ideas too. Yes, Matthias?
That's it. Yeah, bring it on, man.
Yeah.
And maybe there's an auspicious weekend with a good kind of date that represents something about forest, something about trees. Suggestions are welcome. We will have a look at that. And happy week, happy tree planting. Hope you got some inspiring ideas, and we're looking forward to connect. Best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn, but the TreeTherium tree, the Linktree, connect with us there, and see you guys soon.
Thank you very much, Matthias. Where are you off to today or this week? Are you staying in town or?
Yeah, I'm in Kuala Lumpur this week, but
Okay.
on Friday back to the Philippines. So then I'll be there until the new year.
So if you have an interesting ecological project, then you want to discuss that with Matthias, he's still in town. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we see you next week. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.